UK is a magnet for investment in financial services. In this next chapter, we talk to UK trade and investment about the key attractions of the UK as an investment destination. So Michael, it's your role to attract investment into the UK in the financial services sector. What would you say were the big attractions of the UK for financial services investment?
Well, the UK, and London in particular, is a global financial centre. Access to 60 million people here, 500 million people in Europe, for example. It's got access to leading experts in accounting, in tax, in finance. We are well positioned geographically. Can't do anything about that, but we're well positioned geographically between Asia and the US. So our Greenwich Meridian means a lot, we are a very strong have a very strong underpinning in our legal system, which means that we attract a lot of cultural diversity into a market. So we are the leading market in Europe.
Governments often talk about being business friendly. We asked Michael what this actually means in practice.
In practice, it means that we are open for business. If you look at any of our indices, you'll find that 40% are overseas investors coming into the UK. If you take the FTSE 100, 40% of them are overseas investors coming into the UK. And that means that government wants to attract overseas investment on a competitive basis. And we want to demonstrate our competitiveness, which is one of the reasons why, for example, we have the lowest tax rate at 20% in the G7 countries, and have signalled that it will reduce to 18% within 2 years.
But on the competition front, I mean, you're not just competing with Europe, you're competing with North America, and also, most particularly these days, with Asia and some very low-cost places there. I mean, how can the UK retain its competitive edge?
I think we're very aware that we live in a very competitive world, and particularly in financial services, we have to earn the right to win your business here in the UK. And so we, from a policy perspective, look at each area of our competitiveness to ensure that we are competitive in the market. And we make changes where we can do so in order to ensure that we do maintain that competitiveness. One of the key areas, of course, is skills. And having the right skills in a market is really important to enable those businesses to thrive. So ensuring that we have the right skills and a free and vibrant international market servicing financial services industries is a key part of our attractiveness as a global centre.
One of the big uncertainties in the UK is that the government has promised a referendum on whether the country should remain inside or leave the European Union. How does UKTI respond to that?
Well, we're asked that question clearly increasingly since the election. And it's very clear that this government wants to remain in Europe and wants to remain in a globally competitive Europe. And so, provided that reforms are made for the benefit of the market in total, that the government will want to ensure that referendum comes out with a remain in vote.
All right, but let's imagine that, I mean, the UK public did vote to leave. Could we still retain our competitive edge, and could we still be a powerful force in financial services outside of the European Union?
The key to investment and attracting investment is about certainty. And one of the difficulties that one has had over the last few years, and we are the leading foreign direct investment location in Europe, by an increasing margin. One of the difficulties that we've had is the extent to which there is continuous sort of uncertainty about the future of our position in Europe. And the government has made it very clear that they want to ensure that there is an appropriate reform agenda and that they can put that to the electorate. So I do expect there to be a strong mandate on which the government will then be able to put the question.
In attracting foreign investment into Britain and helping businesses to expand, UKTI works very closely with banks such as Lloyds.
We have a global commercial partners program in which we work with many of the big banks and the big accounting and consulting firms, which have very much aligned agendas, but they have very strong networks. And so what we're endeavouring to do is to work with them to ensure that we can access their networks and they can access our networks for mutual advantage, and to do the things we want to see that only government can do.